All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So we are taking a look at some really good charts here actually. So VRM, I am so happy what this thing has done, man. I covered this on the 9th. I literally called this thing a juicy setup, and man, it has delivered oh, this one was only a 9%. And then again, obviously you see here another double digit today. So I love it when the juicy setups are as juicy as they set up. You know what I mean? So this is fantastic. And I'll be honest with you, this thing is knocking on the door of some serious stuff. You know what I mean? So there's a bunch of interesting things going on. I'm actually really excited to talk about Vroom for sure. All right. RVYL. I liked the chart a few days ago. It definitely did some good things. I am excited to talk about this one. Really, I keep saying it. My viewers drop really good tickers. And look, nothing we share is financial advice. We are just educated people sharing our thoughts and opinions, right? But RVYL was a viewer request I had no idea about and I really liked. MVST is another one. That's the one I'm going to cover at the end. I wish it came to me a couple days ago, but honestly, it reminds me of the vroom thing that we're looking at only down here. So all three of these are actually really cool to talk about, all right? Before we go any further, what are we going to do though? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, share this video all over the internet. If you can comment good or bad, if you disagree with me, I'm not here to hate on you. I'm here to hopefully have a good conversation, you know, like anything you can do really does help me out with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here and giving me your time is super appreciated. All right. So Vroom, oh my goodness, I am loving. Let's just talk about what is happening, right? So again, my last video I made was on the 9th, right? And what did I like? I like this real fresh MACD divergence right there. Again, divergent, nothing more than a fancy word from going away from each other, all right? And we like green over red. It's like a traffic light, right? Like green is good. So we liked this divergence. I liked it on 9. I thought it was gonna keep diverging, keep going away, and that's what it did. And when this happens, when volume keeps going up as this happens, that's what you'll get. And again, double digit day, almost double digit day, double digit day. That's how you hit after what seems like it's already run already. Like this thing, roughly speaking, went from $1 to $1.50. All right. For most people, they would say, hey, this thing's already run 50%. Why are you even considering buying? For me, I'm telling you, that was for me the juicy setup. If you go back on my videos and you'll see what it brought, right? So look, nothing here is financial advice, right? And I'm really less here about bragging than I am like, I hope you're seeing what is happening, right? Because a lot of my videos were made during harder times, right? And times seem to be getting better, and it's been getting better for a quick minute too, right? So yeah, beautiful last couple days, especially after, like I said, the juicy setup. Again, here's what's happening, all right? This right here was a real plateau. You can see for basically almost 2 months, right? Half of this one in the full August. But from half of July to half of September, this horizontal was basically enough for me to draw this line. Once we broke this, red should have hopefully been an easy fill. And we're I think here, we broke this today, actually. We ran all the way up here. We are now touching the bottom of this horizontal. And let's be honest, this right here is not as significant as this right here, right? Like this line for me was the bigger line to break. This line for me was the harder line to break. Once this line broke, it ran as hard as I expected it to, right? So what we're really at now is this. What's going to happen to this line? Because again, if we break this line, this is really where it's going to want to come. And then let's be honest, this is red, like this is where it's going to want to come. All right. And I am trying to here personally not have $7 dreams on 250 because it is really hard to make really important decisions when you see 730 and you're sitting at 240. All right. And what are those important decisions? Look, let's be honest. This RSI is high. Okay. Again, 80% of the work is up here. We have never lost the 8 moving average. So in a lot of ways, as long as we don't lose the 8, baby, it is all good, right? Now, what this might be telling me is, hey, we might be coming back down. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if we came back down to 185. I think we might be coming back to this horizontal. Maybe that's a little too low because realistically the 8's probably going to keep going up, right? So maybe we come back down to 207. Maybe we kind of let this restart. But man, the weekly, look, oh wow, the weekly is even higher than I thought. But again, look at the weekly, right? This is an important plateau. And again, it's barely anything, but it's definitely a plateau. Then we go to this absolute nothing of red and just so much red. Like, dude, don't have $50 dreams on Vroom, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard to not. All right, this line right here is gonna be hard to break. This this 550. So that's still like the number in my head. And again, 250 to 550 is a lot of percent between there and now, right? And it's over weeks, right? But again, how can you ignore a 90 RSI? But at the same time, like, this thing is still not like crashing down. Like, it actually kind of looks relatively horizontal, right? Like, what is your RSI number here? 85 right here. Sorry, you're obviously at not, like, it's actually still going up, right? Like, it's crazy that the numbers are there, but man, end of the day, this looks good. This looks good. This looks good. This looks not bad, right? So Vroom might have weeks and weeks coming, and dude, end of the day, just hold the 8 and go. And let me just flash Carvana, CVNA, all right? Because CVNA makes a nice run, comes back, goes with it, then pops. RSI was super high, calms down, then basically does some silliness, right? So in a lot of ways, we might just be kind of starting up. And look, Carvana's actually lost the 8, come to the 20 and bounce, lost the 8, come to the 20 and bounce, lost the 8, come to the 20 and bounce, right? Vroom is still relatively fresh. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot happening. There's a lot to like here. There's a lot of gap fills and only a few horizontals. You know what I mean? So today was a nice day. Today hit like almost 30%, right? Like, dude, Vroom, I mean, I actually don't think it's over. I wouldn't be surprised if it cools off. I don't see it doing anything more than a healthy cool off before it keeps running. But Vroom is looking sweet. VRYL. All right, I like this stock. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like a little dyslexic, and the letters like mess me up pretty hard when I look at it. But RVYL. Okay, look, I liked what this had going. All right, I actually drew a couple of trend lines I don't remember doing, but I liked what this thing had going on, right? When you can break all the moving averages, that's a good thing. When you come down to a healthy back to the 8 and take off, that's a good thing. I'm really surprised in the last couple days. I actually am. Doji, generally the day after is really telling, and as interesting as this looked, it's actually not that good a candle because we opened down here and then just luckily closed right back where we were, right? So that's not a good candle, all right? And then again, one more doji, that's weird in my book, you know what I mean? I can see, sorry, I'm just zooming in to fix those numbers. The RSI is doing a little bit of a healthy like recovery from this, right? It was up here, it's at least now coming here. 80 is still high though. So, you know, in some ways I think it's coming maybe to like 102, maybe, right? End of the day, I think this 21 number is actually a lot harder than, oh man, yeah, it is basically the top of this horizontal right here. And yeah, after this, what do we see, right? Red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 red. That's a really important line, that 121, 122. And then, yeah, even after this, the next immediate thing was nothing. It battled this line for a while. It actually really did. You can see it. This is the beginning of, this is the end of July, excuse me. And it's basically, you can see it on this thing, on this thing, on this thing, until basically the end of September, right? So this is a no joke of a line. This was a few month battle back in the day. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be a few month battle. That's not what I want you to imply, but it's not an easy line to break. On top of the fact that the RSI is a little high, I think RSI is going to come back down. Hopefully it actually doesn't come much lower than 60, because I could see that right here. I can see that right here. I can see it right here. Like it seems to actually live in the 60s. Obviously it's been low. That's a 14 right there. That's a 15. That's a 16. That's a 16. What are you? You're a little bit higher than 16. Yeah, you know. So it's been in the teens before, but it actually seems to like the 16. End of the day, I do like this right here, right? My one problem really is, I'm going to say it again, there's a lot of moving averages really tight. And dude, I know it looks like it's escaped. I for sure do know that. I know for sure as well. I thought Palantir, obviously that happened, and that's what we're hoping for. I thought Palantir was going to escape here and didn't. I thought Palantir was going to escape here but didn't. It eventually did, right? But the same thing could be said about HUSA, all right? Again, this is the opposite of it, but I thought it was going to escape here. 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 It never cracked that line. And I, you know what I mean? And then eventually did the wrong thing down there, right? So just remember two things, okay? Number one, there are a lot of moving averages really tight. There are literally all 5 of them really tight right here, right? So I know it looks like it's gone. Dude, I think we need to break 121 substantially to believe it. Otherwise, we might be coming back in. Hopefully we don't go deep back in. Hopefully we never lose the 8, right? Like bouncing on the 8's not a bad thing. Losing the 8 and holding the 20 is not a bad thing, all right? Once you lose the 8 and the 20, that's when things get scary and dangerous. You know what I mean? Like something like this, right? So I liked when I made it on the last video. I did. It looked like the lines were going to escape. We're actually doing a tighter trend line, right? I guess since I have one, I'll draw it. I think it's that thing, right? Yeah, it's that thing. We're now, yeah, I'll draw it from you. We're now doing that, okay? So maybe we only come to this, all right? Maybe. What did I say? One of the other ones I thought was like 102, 103. Maybe we come to this. Maybe we hit this and go, right? Again, I think 122 is the true money line. And again, we've seen what happens when it breaks it and then onward. We've seen it struggle. We've seen it struggle. We've seen it pump and dump as well, right? So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'm not entirely convinced. I think you can take, you can see my optimism has gone down significantly, and really it's these two. But I will say this, let's end it with this. Okay, let me look at the weekly before I say let's end it with this. Actually, it's the same comment I'm going to make. It's still a little early in the week. We're midweek, right? 2 day, big things can happen in 2 days. But the day after the doji is generally very telling, all right? And I think we're still waiting for the very telling candle. We should see a big green that smashes this, or potentially a hard red that brings us to the 8 or one of these downtrends. That's my working guess here. But I'm still really interested in this stock. I'm definitely going to be watching this in the back of my head, all right? It's funny. I would call this one MVST. I would not call this one MVST. I don't know why, all right? And the person that knows what that means knows what that means, all right? So, yes, all that said, I really, really like what I'm seeing here, okay? Again, I always say 80% of the work is up here, and what did we just do? We smashed all the moving averages and have beautifully been rewarded with it, all right? What I also like is, look, it's not like it was a random event. It hits this, fails. It breaks this, it fails. It hits this, it fails. It hits this. That's not bad confirmation. It runs. And really, once it got over that, that would have been the easy entry right there. And really, you could have also even said that would have been the easy entry, just a little bit safer, right? But this is a fantastic run from 185 to basically, let's call it 180. From 180 to 280, excuse me. You added $1 on that. Like, that is a fantastic trade to say the least. MACD looks like it's doing there's a lot of really good things I like to say here, all right? A couple things I'm looking for, right? Number one, I don't know this stock, so I'm actually zooming out to see what this thing does. Oh, interesting. I'm assuming this was a de-SPAC that did not go well. Interesting. Okay. Few things. I would draw a line right here. I know this is kind of zoomed out, but still. There's a horizontal here, and there was one here. I think this one's a little bigger than this one, so I would draw my horizontal on this thing. And then really, I think probably here. So that's a hard gap. I guess let's at least put the top of this just to have something. But I'll be honest, there's a decent reason to believe you're going to come to 503. And part of me, I think I'm going to zoom in. Let's zoom in. I don't know if I want to take the top of this or the bottom of this. And really, it's actually kind of the same thing. I think it's that line right there. It's literally top of that, bottom of that. That's a... Oh, man. All right. What do I think is going to happen? I think we're going to kiss this $3. What I don't really like is the RSI tends to pop and drop. This was a little bit sustained, but yeah, this is in the 60s and low 70s. That's not like the highest we get here is six. Like, we're not living. What did you get to? All right. You got to 85, 84, 81, 85, 84, 81. All right, where were you at yesterday? You were at 78. Today was the first day we've cracked into the 80s. 80s is where I start to ring the bell and say, hey, I think this thing's a little overbought maybe. I think we might need to cool down. And I think this horizontal is enough to where I would say, you know what? I think we might come back down to 237. Or I think over the next bit, this 8 moving average is going to catch up and we might like bounce on the 8 for the first time. But overall, I'm telling you, I like this. Overall, what I'm looking for is this to break. My alert is going to be 2.898. That's what I would really like to see here, actually. If I can get over this, I would do that. Truth be told, I actually think I'm also going to set an alert for 240. If this thing drops to 240, I actually might be interested in picking up a little bit of a, I call it a bottom feeder thing, but if I can hit a bottom feeder bid or like a little stink bid, yeah, I wouldn't mind catching that before the next takeoff. But again, I like this. What I also am liking, I haven't talked about volume yet, right? But let me actually, that's a good view. We've seen decent volume kind of fizzle. What it basically does is kind of horizontal and go down. What I'm actually seeing is a start of an increase of volume. And really the average itself kind of shows that. The average was down here, right? It wasn't that long ago that our 50-day average was 1.5. Our 50-day average, look at that. It's now 5.4. That's cool. Over the last 50 days, more people have been interested in buying this. And look, it seems like there's reason to believe more volume will be coming. And again, this right here is a really healthy increase. That's not a good line because it was, but you can see that, right? So MVST, not MVST, I don't know, I'm making a stupid joke twice. I apologize. I like this. I actually really do. Where are we on the weekly? Man, look at this. This is actually giving me reason to believe $4 is a decent target here. Why? Break the 8, go to the 20. Break the 20, go to the 50. Break the 50, go to the 100. We broke the 50. We confirmed, right? Obviously, things can happen in the next 2 days, but even if we come down to this line that I was assuming, right? Like, that's still good confirmation. Again, one more time, this doesn't seem like a random pump and dump. We've tested this and failed. We tested this and failed. We tested this and confirmed. That makes me believe we're coming to 4. I like this stock. I actually do. So, man, my viewer requests keep getting better and better and better, and I love it, man. Building a little army here, man. I love it. So, hey, let me know your thoughts if you don't agree with anything. Otherwise, I appreciate you so, so much.